All right, welcome back to the Take It and Run podcast with your hosts Kristi and Kelcie. And let's just start off by saying I was gone, like out of my house for 15 days in July. And that was a little bit hard. And so as Kelcie and I were preparing for this episode, one of the things that I was telling her, and she's actually getting ready to go on a little trip with her family, and we were talking about, like, it seems like there's always something that comes up in life. And it's between vacations. My kids go back to school next week. You heard that right. Here in Arizona, we start school in the middle of July. It's going to be like 108 next week. No big deal.
It's gotta be intense.
But the kids' schedules, like, things that I hear from busy professionals all the time is like, oh, but my kids are going to be on break, or my kids are going back to school, or Christmas is coming, Thanksgiving's coming, 4th of July is coming, right? Like, or a vacation. There's always these random curveballs. There's always something that threatens your momentum or threatens your routine. So I want to take this time to talk about, what if you could plan for the interruptions and actually use them for your advantage?
Yeah. And we actually came up with a method, like an actual acronym. We love acronyms, but a framework for when, whether it's a planned vacation or something unexpected happens, or it's just back to school, like Kristi was saying, that it helps you protect your momentum. So whether you're at the beach or just getting ready for life to start back up again in its routines, we got something for you.
Yeah, so we're going to introduce what we call the pause method. It's a framework to help you, try to find and prepare for the patterns of life, right? We like to think that life is random, but a lot of times we actually know when school starts. It starts this, I can look it up. I know when school starts. Holidays, they hit like clockwork, right? So why are we treating them like surprises? Let's kind of zoom out a little bit and talk about the prepare. So one of the jokes that I always make when I'm talking about time management, Kelcie knows this, I always say, like, you just have to prepare because someone's going to throw up. Your kid's going to throw up, your dog's going to throw up, your cat's going to throw up, or you're going to throw up. And, that's kind of gross, I get it. But the point is that something, like, I always think back to when my babies who are 12 and 13 were babies. The moment that I had like a hard deadline to get out of the house, someone would throw up. Someone would lose a shoe. I once left the house and Red was in a flip-flop and a cowboy boot. Like, no joke. And I was just like, I'll allow it. Right? Because I was like, I was going to be late. And so there are some things that we just have to prepare for. And whether it's a vacation, right? If you know you're going on vacation. So for me, some of the things that I did to prepare to be gone for so long in July is I prepared my kids, right? So that meant I had their suitcases out. I even went as far, Kelcie, and I had my handy AI. His name is Chad, my Chat GPT. So I said, I need you to write a checklist for my kids. So I actually printed out a checklist for each kid. How many underwear? Did you pack your toothbrush?
Wow.
Did you pack your cell phone charger? So every child had their luggage with a list of everything that they needed, because I wasn't going to be home. They needed
Right.
that. Same thing. Like, I packed everything that I could pack for vacation before I did. So I prepared my clients. I prepared my schedule, whatever I could prepare in advance. So for vacations and things, there's a lot of stuff that you can prepare for the unexpected, or for just like trying to get your kids out the door on time. There are some things that you can prepare in advance. I don't know. What are your thoughts on prepare for the patterns?
Yeah. So the first, P is our first letter for our acronym pause. But yeah, I would prepare. We look at our lives, and this is typical. We look at our lives in quarters, right? So in those 90-day blocks. And I think that's the best way to prepare for the things that you know are going to happen. Back to school, vacations are usually, especially big ones, planned in advance, stuff like that. So take a look. You can even do it now. You don't have to wait until the next start of the quarter or anything like that. And we're at the middle of the year, so it's still, if you like those like pillars within the calendar to start things, look at what regularly shows up and what you tend to underestimate. But then when it happens, you're like chicken with your head cut off, someone's throwing up, all of it, and you're like, God, it's just back to school. But like, what can you prepare for, like Kristi did, and what tools can you use to help you prepare? Get your own Chad. Kristi, I do think you should rename it Thor, though. But Chad makes sense. And look back, reflect on what happened last year, the last time you did this, and what were on the plane wishing, oh, I wish I had done this differently, or on your way to school thinking, oh, we should have done this instead. Why didn't we do this sooner? So just build it. Buffer weeks, light loads, plan for flexibility, but you can still prepare in advance for things like this.
Yeah. Okay. Move us on to our A.
Our A. So A and a little bit of D. A, so next one is automate and delegate. So this is where which is something that I value over a lot of other things, is you protect your energy when you automate and you delegate. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to do it all. You definitely don't have to do it all right then either. So that's the beauty of automating and delegating. Kristi, tell me more about it.
I forget exactly how Rory Vaden put it, but I was privileged to see Rory Vaden speak twice in the past year. Plus, I've read 2 of his books. I'm currently reading his 3rd book, and there's so many nuggets. But he talked about when we automate and when we put together processes and things like that, our future self will thank us, right? So let's say that it takes me an hour to put together an automation, or an hour to batch and schedule my social media for the month, right? And we think, oh, I don't have an hour. I'll just do one post right now, or I'll just do one thing right now, even creating an email newsletter or something like that. So we think, oh, I don't have time. I don't have an hour to be able to do this. And he says, think about the time dividend that you'll get. Take the hour, put together the process, put together the automation, do whatever you'll do, and then think about yourself three weeks from now, 3 months from now, how much time you've given your future self back. And so that automate and delegate, you should absolutely schedule, think about batching your emails, batching your content, preloading your calendar. Heck, I mean, I look at the emails and schedule them to send while I'm gone, right? Different things, scheduling tasks. Use technology to handle the boring stuff so you can focus on what matters. If you can't automate it, should you delegate it, right? So does it have to be done by me? Can it be done by someone else? Can I automate it? And if I can't automate it, can I delegate it? That's how you can scale while you're busy. And you may even have to update your priorities on what you're trying to get done. So like for me personally, in a month like July, where I knew that I was going to be traveling for half of the month, we spent the beginning of the month preparing our content, batching our content, brainstorming our ideas. I spent a good portion of the middle of June rearranging my July schedule to accommodate for the travel. And that was really like that automation. Also just saying, this is not something that I can do right now, which actually brings us to our next letter, which is U in the pause method, and that is update your priorities. There are going to be times, like if you are in crisis, or you have a vacation, or an emergency, or you've got family coming into town, or it's Christmas, or whatever it is, right? Like, you don't have to do everything. You just need to do the right things. So, my summer schedule, like when my kids are out of school, my summer schedule is very different from when my kids are in school. And just think about that. I have teenagers, so teenagers like to wake up super early, right?
Yeah,
No.
I love it. Yeah. Early them is like before noon, right?
Exactly. So my summer schedule is, a little bit different than when my kids are in school, because when they're in school, their school starts at 7. So
Mhm.
I'm waking them up a lot earlier. We're making sure, lunches, backpacks,
Right.
gym clothes, all of the things that they need. Well, in the summer, I just let them sleep. It's
Mhm.
like let them sleep, and they know, don't wake mom up at night because she'll turn off the internet. So I don't care if you stay up, but you wake me up in my precious sleep, I'm turning off the internet. So you need to update your priorities. I wouldn't trying to start a new project in July, like that would have been crazy. That would have just been setting myself up for a lot more stress, setting myself up for failure. That also meant that I had to say no to certain things in July
Yeah.
because of my travel schedule. So when we talk about update your priorities, it's that you need to focus on what's your non-negotiables. So my non-negotiables were my clients who are under contract, my listings that are active on the market. For us, it was staying consistent with our emails, newsletter, staying consistent with our social media strategy. We weren't
Right.
trying to launch any new projects. We just tried to buffer the beginning and then updating our priorities of what we were going to do for the rest of the month while we were traveling and making sure.
Yeah. What I'm hearing is let the season shape your strategy. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. What can wait? What deserves your full attention? What's just noise? Okay. So that kind of takes us into the next part, which is S. And I think this one, all of them are important. I think this one is super, super, super important. And that's to set expectations. This is where the magic happens. You set expectations with your clients, your team, your support people, your family, whoever, or your friends, whoever you're going on vacation with, and yourself. It's really easy to, when you have a laundry list of things that you need to do, um, to completely abandon preparing yourself and other people for what you are going to do. Like, Kristi, you were just on, you were just gone for 15 days, and like you said, you changed your schedule a lot, but did you completely stop answering emails? Did you completely stop working? Was that kind of vacation? Or was it one where you and Meryl kind of had some mornings where you answered emails or you took meetings?
That's a really good question. So this particular vacation, and I'll tell you about a different vacation. But this particular vacation, Meryl and I didn't schedule any coaching calls. I didn't schedule any webinars. I didn't schedule anything like that because we knew we were going to be out of the Airbnb and like hiking and on the lake and in Yosemite. It was a very active vacation. There have been times where like we've gone to our family cabin and I'll tell the
Mhm.
family, hey, I had to schedule a webinar. It's from this time to this time. There's been times where we've gone to Mexico
Right.
to do retreats and things like that where we've said, okay, I'm going to work until 9 or 10 in the morning. I'm going to have the entire afternoon, and then I'll have the evening open. So all of our real estate clients knew that we were going to be traveling. They knew they could reach us. For us, our strategy was going to be afternoon because most of our mornings, especially with Yosemite and Tahoe, like you have to get out early. It's super, super
Right.
packed. So we set them up that we were not going to be available. We were not going to have communication during the morning, but that we would be available every evening to answer calls, respond to text messages, respond to emails. So we kind of
Mhm.
set up our real estate clients to know. Now they also had obviously transaction coordinator, your information. So they had a backup person if there was an emergency that they had to get a hold of. They had people they knew who to talk to, but we set them up that we were not going to be available. I
Yeah.
remember one of my real estate coaches, the amazing Eileen Rivera, she actually challenged Meryl and I don't know if you remember this, when she challenged us to have a work free vacation, meaning
Yeah.
we were not allowed to have business meetings. We were not allowed to like have calls with our clients or anything. And we had never done that. Like in 10 years of selling real estate, Merrill had never taken a vacation where he didn't work. And I remember
Yeah.
he was so nervous.
Mhm.
Um, and the world didn't fall apart. Obviously, you and the team, everybody handled it swimmingly, right? But the idea is to set expectations. So back to, set expectations when we travel. I have a lot of clients that are traveling to Europe right now, so there's obviously a major time gap. And so I say, like, what kind of vacation is this? Is this a working vacation? Is this a non-working vacation? And then what kind of boundaries are you going to set for yourself? Like, are you going to be on your phone all day, like not
Right.
connected with the family? Or are you going to set up? A lot of times, what works really well for us, if we're traveling and we know we're going to have reception and we're not going to be out and about, we usually try to do it in the morning and in the evening,
Right.
to just to catch up on what we need to. But I'll talk about something a little bit more practical too than just vacations. You also need to set expectations with your family members. So my coaching schedule is pretty busy. I like to stack my coaching calls. And so Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are like really big coaching days.
Mhm.
My children know if you need mom, like if you need to schedule, even my mom who needs sometimes help with her doctor's appointments and different things like that, if she needs me, I always tell her, like, don't schedule me on a Monday or a Friday. You're more likely to get into my schedule, or after 2, right? So if you can schedule me after 2 or on a Monday or a Friday, it's more likely that I'm going to be able to participate in a doctor's appointment, participate in something like that. So even setting the expectation with my kids, like, if you need something from me, I need advance notice. Like, you can't come to me today and say, "Hey mom, I need you at school tomorrow at, 12."
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to accommodate that because I have other people that I've already made commitments to. So a lot of times, even just in life in general, I set expectations with my kids. This is going to be a silly one and people are probably going to think that I'm crazy, but my kids know that I order the groceries on Fridays. So if you need deodorant, you better have it to me
Yeah.
before Friday afternoon. And so they even say, "Hey mom, have you ordered the groceries yet?" Okay, cool. And then they also know that they need to text me. All my kids have cell phones, so they text me. And that's like, don't tell me you need deodorant. Text me. Don't tell me you need XYZ. If you have a project, this is a really, really big one. If you have a project in school, the expectation is you are not coming to me, like, it's at the time of this recording, it's 1 in the afternoon. You're not coming to me tonight and say, "I have a project due tomorrow. I need a
Right.
poster board. I need this and this." Like,
Yeah.
oh, no, 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 no. Like,
Yeah.
you better hope that your older sister is in a good mood and will take you to the store to get a poster board, because I'm not going to. Like, you knew that you had that project. My expectation is that they're all 7th grade and up, so they're way capable of knowing that if they need supplies, they have to come to me. So I set expectations around, if you need me,
Mhm.
how you can get access to me. If you need something from me, how to do that, so that I don't have as many last minute, like, hair on fire with the kids stuff. I see that a lot of times with professionals. I don't know, Kelcie, if you've ever seen that, but you've worked with a lot of the agents on the team, so you've seen that too. It's like, what's the most common thing that gets people off their routine and out of doing what they should be doing?
No, that's actually what I was thinking of while you were sharing this, is it was making me think of one of our most recent podcasts where we were going through like the most common questions that agents have. And I was just thinking about, like, if you don't have, okay, so you are primarily a real estate coach. And so that's what fills up your day, and speaker. And so that's what fills up your day. But I'm thinking about, people that are primarily agents or business owners, and what do their days look like? Their days are by design. And that can mean that they are designed to be controlled by their family. And instead of designed for, no, from 12 to 3, I'm making calls, or, I'm fill in the blank in terms of lead generation. Um, so if the people in your life don't know that, then, and if you don't live by that, then you're going to be tossed by the waves, right? And you're going to feel stressed out, and then you're going to be like, I can't do this. I just think it, not having a structured schedule with the set expectation for the people around you and the discipline to follow through on it, you will tumble into this is too hard, or I'm not cut out
Hmm.
for this. You know, like I guess this whole, and this is why I said I think set expectations is the biggest one, because maybe it's multifaceted. And it's not just for the, you know, the holidays or the vacations or whatever it might be in life. It's so critical for every day that you know what you're going into, and the people that are most important to you or affect your day the most, or you affect them, also know what your day is like, so that you can be successful in real estate or whatever you're setting out to do. You know, like you said, you have appointments with other people, but I mean, I think you know too that the appointments that you make with yourself are just as important.
Oh, that's such a good point.
And so teaching people to honor those, to honor that time that you have, is important. So yeah, going back to your original question, you know, family, because they're so, you know, because it's so important, family, and whether that's like blood family or, you know, I don't have children, but I know that, you know, my close friend and my goddaughter, they, you know, it's hard to not drop anything for her, you know. And so, but I'm like, that's not how it works all the time. So that's definitely the thing that can throw people off the most.
Yeah. So let's finish out with our last letter of our acronym for pause. So we talked about prepare for the patterns, automate and delegate, update your priorities, set expectations, and now let's talk about getting back to it or easing back in, right? So ease back in for our E. Now, that what I mean by that is I want you to get back into routine. I don't want you to take a week like easing back into it. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is like you need to come back from where you're going, what you're doing, and you're not going to accomplish everything that first day that you're back, right? You may have to. In fact, we were talking about it. I think you need to get back into routine as quickly as possible. But when I'm talking about ease back in, it's like having a buffer day. I came home on a Saturday, so I had all day Sunday to get what I needed to get done. That meant, you know, working on my calendar, that meant getting my laundry, doing my meal prep, kind of those things. But, you know, how do you feel about this idea of like easing back in and getting back to it?
Oh, it's so crucial. And it's something I realized that I was doing subconsciously over the past few years is once you experience the buffer day, it's like I would rather, maybe it's getting older, I don't know, but I would rather
That's exactly what it is.
like I would rather have that, you know, say like in your example, like get back home on a Sunday or get back home on a Saturday and have that Sunday before work. I'd rather do that than have an extra day. And truly it's a half day, right? Because you're traveling and you're getting ready to leave
Hmm.
and everything. I would rather get home and have a buffer day than have an extra day on vacation. Because it's, you know, coming back to like protect your energy, right? And I think some of us know that feeling of needing a vacation from your vacation, you know, coming,
Yes.
and especially if you're traveling with other people, you know, you could get, if you're introverted, that's like your energy tank is low and you need that day to get back into it. It's so important. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, it totally is worth it. Well, let's do lightning bonus tips.
Okay.
So you know, one of the things that I would say is we're going to call it a momentum menu. And this is a time blocking recommendation I give a lot of people who are new parents. I would say you need to be ready to work in small bursts of time. So you should have your go-to list of things that you can do in 15 minutes. Like what are tasks that I can do in 15 minutes? You know, you should have your call list ready to go. So if you only have, you know, 5 minutes, you can make one call, you can send a text message, you can do something.
Mhm.
So even if things are chaotic, I once had a client, their child was having a lot of medical issues, and none of it was like urgent. It was, but it wasn't, meaning like she wasn't
Sure.
in the urgent care. She was in scheduled doctor's appointments, but they were taking every day long periods of time, and she was really worried about her business. And so one of the things I told her is like, you need to just have like you need to have a little go bag of like note cards and a list of people you could write note cards. You could write note cards while you're in the waiting room of a doctor's office,
Oh,
or,
that's fun.
you know, like you could have a list of people ready to go to make text messages. So think of like a momentum menu, things that you could do in a short period of time, but you have to have that prepared in advance.
Hmm. Yeah, and if you like the sound of that, but you don't, you're kind of drawing up blanks. Ask your own chat. Ask Chat GPT or your AI that you prefer. Like, hey, I'm this kind of professional. I need this momentum menu of 15-minute tasks that I can do, in the waiting room. Tell me what you got, Um, so another one of our tips that we have is to block your tasks and some margin space. Like, it blows my mind. And I think it just comes from seeing it on your guys' calendar for so long that some people, busy professionals, don't time block travel time.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see it on their face when they don't. And you can see it in the stress in their eyes when they show up 5-10 minutes late to an appointment because they were running from another one, right? And it's like it could have been avoided if you put in that buffer time. Interruptions come and you can plan for them.
It's funny that you say that because travel time is a big one, and I do put in travel time, especially because I'm constantly giving out my link so people can
Yeah.
schedule me.
Yeah.
And if you schedule me during travel time, but another thing that I do in that buffer time is I know that if I'm going into a call session, so this is like one of the biggest things that I see is people get distracted during their call sessions and they don't make as many calls as they should because they're getting distracted by text messages, they're getting distracted by emails. And I know you actually will pause. That's one of your strategies. You will pause your
Yeah.
email so that you can focus. And maybe it's not on calls because you don't like making calls, but it's so that you can focus on your project, right?
Yeah.
And so I always like to, if I'm going into a call session, I like to take 15 minutes or 30 minutes, like whatever I can afford, to clear out my email, to clear out my messages, right? Like respond,
Like
like,
that.
is there anything urgent that I have to do? And so let's say that you're doing, an hour and a half block of calls, schedule, 15 minutes prior and 15 minutes after. Nothing that's going to happen in that hour and a half or that hour of calls that you're making is going to be so urgent on a contract or something like that that it can't wait until
Right.
you get done. So I do love that buffer block. So
Yeah.
we mentioned it before. I would say batch before the break, like a couple weeks ahead of time. Create a couple extra pieces of content. Create an extra automation to touch your clients. Schedule an extra email. Schedule your email newsletter. Heck, you know that I hate social media ad hoc where people are just like every day doing social media. I'm like, you should prepare in advance. You should schedule what you can.
Yeah.
Yes, capture the moments as you go, but also like don't live under the pressure of every single day I have to come up with something new and engaging and creative. Schedule it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And lastly, like, don't expect perfection of yourself. Don't go into a shame spiral mode. Um, this whole thing is about pausing, and it's about being intentional about these sometimes fun, like vacation fun, sometimes, just part of life routines, going back to school and other interruptions that, you don't know when someone's going to throw up most of the time. So it's like, that's just a
Someone
part of
did
life.
throw up on my vacation, actually, Kelcie. I won't name the person, but
Was
someone
it
actually
motion
did get
sickness?
sick.
Yeah. Um,
So for this vacation, I actually did order. I don't know if you guys know this, but you can order the barf bags from
Yeah.
Amazon, and I did for because it was a road trip too. So I had
Yeah.
like my whole car was stocked with like wet wipes and sanitizers, and we did have
yep.
someone throw up.
Yep. I just got my Dramamine. Um, but yeah, so don't go into a shame spiral when things don't go according to your pause plan. You can just pivot and do what you can, and it's okay.
Perfect. So this week, you guys are going to pick one of the pause methods, find something, try it, and make it work for you.
Yeah. And maybe it's just looking ahead and identifying your next interruption, going back to school. I mean, if you're not in Arizona, you're like, they go back in like 3 months. I get it. But create your own momentum menu, maybe, and just take that first step.
Yep. So when life interrupts, don't freeze. You've got the plan, you've got the framework, so take it and run.